One of the reasons I've been telling you that it's unclear that the Trump riots will have much of an impact on American politics going forward is that many Americans either won't remember what happened on January 6th or will remember it but fall for lies about what it was that took place and believe something that's a complete fantasy. We now have evidence that this is happening. There is a new Reuters Ipsos poll released yesterday, which found, look at this, half of Republicans believe that the Trump riots were left-wing activists merely trying to make Trump look bad or largely nonviolent protests. Neither of those assertions is true. 3 in 10 Republicans believe that Trump is partially responsible for the riots. 7 in 10 do not. 60% of Republicans believe that believe Trump's lies that the 2020 election was stolen. 60%. 60% of Republicans believe that Donald Trump should run in 2024. And 80% of Republicans have favorable opinions of Trump. Many important things to note. Number one, I said yesterday it would be irresponsible for a show about American politics to ignore Donald Trump right now, partially because he still is the face of the Republican Party overall. This poll again confirms that 60% want him running in 3 to 4 years. 80% still view him favorably. 60% believe his lies that he actually was the rightful winner of 2020. So again, that is borne out. Number two, this doesn't suggest that Trump and Republicans are going to be held accountable in 2022. Maybe in 2022, they will be held accountable for other things that haven't yet happened, things that will be more fresh and recent in the minds of Republican voters. But there is no evidence whatsoever that the Trump riots and the way that Republicans defended it are going to have any serious impact on 2022. But the voters either don't believe it or they've forgotten or whatever. As I mentioned, very much the party of Trump. They also claim to be the party of personal responsibility, but they take no responsibility and assign no responsibility or blame to their own elected officials ever. I was kind of stepping back as I was reading these poll numbers and considering the absurdity of the situation. Remember that Donald Trump lost the popular vote by millions in 2016. He accomplished essentially zero of his campaign promises. He was going to pay off the debt. He didn't do it. He was going to build a wall across the U.S.-Mexico border. He didn't do it. He was going to replace Obamacare with something beautiful. He didn't do it. He was going to fix trade. He didn't do it. I could give you the whole list. Never had an approval rating over 50%. The only president in the polling era never to reach 50% approval, even on a single day during their presidency. And then he had the pandemic come in, which for world leaders that handled it well was a ticket to an easy reelection. Trump mismanaged the pandemic, leading to countless extra unnecessary deaths. And then Republicans say, oh, clearly it's not believable that Trump lost. What? Trump did everything wrong, had a disastrous approval and mismanaged the pandemic. Why would you assume he's obviously going to win? Why would you assume Joe Biden somehow stole it? Of course Trump lost. And the real shock is, how didn't Trump lose by more? Trump still almost won electorally, despite the fact that he mishandled all of those things. The real tragedy is that despite everything Trump failed on, 75 million people still voted for him. So anybody waiting around for, the consequences of what the Republican Party and Trump became and what they did in 2022, it's not going to happen. If they do something disastrous in August of 2022, then let's talk. But as I've said before, Republicans don't even know what's going on. In general, voters have short political memories, and we're seeing that borne out already. It's only April of 2021, and more than half of Republican voters don't even understand and or refuse to believe what it was that even happened in January of this year. Let's take a quick break. Let me know your thoughts about what could impact the 2022 election. I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. We'll take a quick break and be right back.